Mr. Kutner, I believe both President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu have endorsed a two-state solution. Given the fact that this produces a very large continuous border between the two states, what is your assessment of the ability of the Palestinian Authority to maintain authority and military presence in the Palestinian territories and not be defeated either in election or militarily by Hamas, and assuming or in the event that such a takeover happens, how would Israel assure its security against a hostile Palestinian state?
Well, you are really touching some of the most delicate issues that I think we face when dealing with a future settlement. A future settlement is based on will be based on a number of premises that may not necessarily be present now. It implies a Palestinian Authority that will have effective control over its territory, that it will enjoy a monopoly of armed force, as any state would claim, and would not tolerate the existence of militias, terrorist groups in its territory. Having said that, you know that Israel doesn't, how do they say, in God we trust, but we prepare ourselves for the worst. It will be Israel will not relinquish its security in the hands of others. We will probably demand that there will be an international guarantee that if things don't go as they should, Israel will still enjoy the right to defend itself. That sounds like obvious, but since coming from our experience in the last few years, in which Israel, despite overwhelming provocation, contained itself until we couldn't any longer, then we were accused of using excessive force and denying the legitimacy of our actions. So we have to make sure that we will be able to respond to, let's say, a situation in which the other side will suffer internal turmoil or an implosion, etc. And surely there will be some security measures that will be agreed upon as condition of any agreement, so that Israel will be better prepared to defend itself in case of a threat. Now, I don't know if everybody is aware of the scale, the geographical scale of what we are talking about. It's not like can Russia absorb a Napoleonic invasion hundreds of kilometers inside its territory before it musters its forces to counterattack. We're speaking about our single only international airport being only a few miles away from Palestinian villages on the other side of the so-called Green Line. So these issues are very critical. So, and they're very much in the mind of military and political planners when engaging in the negotiations on the details of a future agreement.
Consul General Kutner, your information on the economic growth in the Palestinian area, on the West Bank, I believe, was new data to me and encouraging. It suggested to me a kind of positive variation of the old Cold War mutually assured destruction, which would be mutually assured economic success. It strikes me that Israel's tremendous ability in economic development suggests a chance to deploy a master strategy aimed at bringing the West Bank forward as an economic success and differentiating it from Gaza and the Hamas regime. Would you comment on the possibility that Israel has a tremendous gain, possibly for it, in building up the West Bank as an economic success?
Well, since in the last 20 years, actually, Israel has not seen the situation between us and the Palestinian territories in terms of a zero-sum game. It's not that what they win, it's our loss, and the others, and the other way around. I think there is an understanding that welfare of the Palestinian population it's not enough to ensure peace, but it's a condition, and it provides a proper environment for peace negotiations. I may add on my own personal research that some time ago I was in charge of analysis and assessment on North Africa at the time of the Islamist upsurge in Algeria, Tunisia, danger in Morocco, and we were wondering what makes it actually, why are some countries more susceptible to the spread of terror and extremist ideologies and others less so? My conclusion was that hope, it's a sort of a subjective element, but it can be objectivized. When there is an element of hope among the younger generation, it is harder for the extremists to spread and insurge the country. We want to create hope in the Palestinian territories, and therefore, if there is something we're not doing at this point, it's because we still feel that some measures need time in order to, the Palestinians need time in order to put their house in order and ensure that if we eliminate a restriction or a block road somewhere, it won't translate the following day. I'm not speaking about the following week, the following day into a car bomb attack or a suicide bomber going through. So, but our policy, therefore, is to gradually dismantle all these limitations that were imposed in the past, so that the economic growth can accompany progress on the political track. Thank you very much.
Today at the City Club, we have been listening to a Friday forum featuring the Honorable Daniel Kutner, Consul General for the Consulate General of Israel to the Mid-Atlantic region. Thank you, Mr. Kutner. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This program is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.